Do you know anything is weird about you?
What's that?
You don't like poppers at all. I'm not sure I've ever seen you take a hit of poppers in all the time we've been together.
Did I tell you why I do that?
No. Wait,
Like,
is there a story behind it? All this time there's been a story behind it?
it's just I don't know. I feel like poppers are for gay men personally. I
Wow.
don't.
That's a hot
Is that
fucking
mean?
take.
Is that something mean to say?
Do you mean like, okay, obviously they come originally from like gay man culture,
Yeah.
but
I don't know. Do you see a lady taking poppers?
yeah, me, every time I look in a mirror. I mean, I think trans femmes really like poppers. I mean, everyone we know likes poppers for the most part. Maybe, there's levels to it. I don't like, I'm probably a little bit more hooked on them than a lot of people, but
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
I feel like you're kind of the outlier in that sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I mean, it also kind of comes from my history of drug use, I don't know.
I do remember you telling me you're like, it's
Can
like
I talk about
such a
that?
cheap high. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, talk about whatever you want to, but I definitely do remember you like the justification you using being like, it's like the
It's one of the
cheapest.
worst highs, absolutely. Like,
Why do you
I
think
mean,
so?
you could get so much more jacked for like less money, and I mean, it's not that your body will be better off for it or anything, but I mean, you could you could get a way better high for like cheaper. I
They're
feel
not,
the same
poppers
way.
are not like
I feel the
expensive.
same way about like I don't know. I feel the same way about like basically all inhalants, I guess.
Like whippets.
It's like fucking yeah, like whippets or like huffing gas. Why would I want to do that?
I mean, at least with poppers, they like they put a little bit more dignity into it.
The last time I did poppers, it felt like I was being strangled.
That's interesting. The last time I did poppers, I think I actually was strangled. Okay, so episode 6, Brain Frot podcast. As always, host Lavender over here, but not as always. Instead of lovely co-host Lex, you're stepping in. We got Ani. We got Ani on the episode.
Hey, what's up?
So we're in Portland right now.
Yeah.
Not the normal, warm, sunny Los Angeles where this podcast is typically recorded, because I'm up here in your frozen wasteland.
It's fucking rainy and cold as shit here.
Yeah, in the couple weeks leading up to my trip here, I was like, yeah, I'm so ready to go take on the wet, frozen tundra. And you and your roommates are like, no, I think it'll be warm. Like, I think it'll be better by the time you get up here. It is raining and freezing all week, the entire time I'm here.
Okay, so yesterday on my way to work, it was snowing. Like on the highway. Like I saw patches of snow on the highway, and there was like sleet falling on my windshield. And then later that day, like the sun came out.
Yeah, so that's a pretty far cry
Yeah.
from what it's been like in LA recently, even though it has been raining more often than not in LA
real.
recently. If it rained as much in the like week that I'm going to be in Portland, if it rained that much in LA, the whole city would shut down. I mean, it floods everywhere. Everyone's ceilings would cave in. It would
Right.
just be a total nightmare.
Yeah.
So you and I have a little history.
Yeah.
That's an understatement, I guess. That's kind of why I'm in Portland to visit you, because how long did we live together? We lived together for about a year and a half,
Yeah, I mean,
maybe a little more than that.
Like if you're counting that like whole time, like I had pretty much like just moved back to Charlotte, and like
Yeah, we lived in
you just kind of started staying at my place.
an apartment of
Yeah.
yours, and then we moved in more properly to an apartment together, just the two of us. That became 4. We moved into another apartment. So yeah, we lived together for probably more than a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I would say in about as close contact as people can live together. I mean, we shared a room, we shared a bed. I saw you, aside from like when one of us would go on a trip or something, I saw you every day for like 18 months.
Yeah,
basically.
we pretty much been staying in like a 1-bedroom situation, like pretty much the whole time. I mean,
we had been sharing
like
space
we shared
that whole time.
Yeah, I was in a 1-bedroom in Charlotte, and the next place was a 1-bedroom apartment, and then the next place we shared one room.
Yeah, it was like a 3-bedroom, but we
So-
still shared a room in it. So I guess we kind of decided that in a roundabout way, this is like the polyamory episode, because that's certainly something that is in the zeitgeist right now for trans people. You know, it's like, it's so common that it's bizarrely, you almost kind of like assume when you meet a new doll that she's poly. Like most girls you meet are like, I'm in a relationship, but I'm poly, so like I'm available. Like that's the default basically these days.
For sure.
And that's divisive. Cis people like hate polyamory. They really don't like it. Like if you see like TikToks and stuff or like tweets, like people just ragging on bitches being poly because they're like, it could never be me. And I get it. Like some people are fucking annoying about it.
Well, like, I mean, people have just like such a poor basis of like what polyamory means, because it's like straight people do polyamory all the fucking time. I mean, it's called dating.
Yeah.
Like you're no strings attached. You're like seeing multiple people, and maybe you're seeing like the same like 4 or 5 people over and over. Like you consider that dating. I mean, that's basically the same as polyamory. I mean,
like by that point with dolls, we're just like willing to call each other girlfriends. And
and like
say we're poly.
You find people that like you're more attracted to and that you want to spend more time with, and it's like it's literally the same thing, you know.
I would say that you and I, beyond just being poly, we were in a polycule.
Yeah,
which is not the same thing. Like we were living together, you and I, 2 other people. Everyone was dating each other, at least for a substantial portion of the time that we were together, living together. That was functionally a polycule,
right?
I think. I mean, we called it that at the time. I would still refer to it as that. So that's a little bit more... Like, I feel like when people think about polyamory, they're probably imagining polycule more often than not. Like, straight people, cis people, they're imagining the type of monogamous dating they do, but with 4 people, and everybody's dating each other, and like nobody's dating anybody else. Like that's their vision of polycule, is essentially a relationship, but with 4 people. And I can kind of get how people would see that as kind of annoying, because I mean, our polycule wasn't even like that. Everyone was dating outside of the polycule too. I mean, we literally all 4 had partners outside of our polycule at one point or another. So, yeah, I guess we'll just like talk about that, give a little context to that, because I think that even amongst a poly world, that was a unique situation.
For sure.
It happened by pure accident. I think, at least. I mean, you and I were living in a 1-bedroom together in the greater Charlotte area, a place I fucking hated. That place sucked ass. Classic bad apartment. Do you remember how the water would just not stop sometimes?
Yeah, like so you're talking about the one with the bathroom that had the hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't know what the fuck was going on with like the shower in this bathroom, but like like we couldn't get the water to stop, and like in like the fucking handle that you use to like turn the knob and turn the water like on and off and turn it to hot and cold, like that would literally just come loose, and like you would try to like crank it around to see if you could get it to turn again, and like it would cut your hand up and stuff. It was fucked up. And so like we called maintenance.
We had to call emergency maintenance one night,
and they came out in the middle of the night and busted a huge hole in the wall.
Yeah, so the water pipes just would not turn off, and we could hear the water through the walls.
Yeah,
and we were like, "That's not good."
It's literally leaking into the wall.
Yeah, there's a closet behind the shower that we had stuff in, and that started to get wet. Like the carpet, like the floor started to fill up with water, and so we were like, "We need someone to fix this ASAP." We called emergency maintenance, and they came out and just smashed a big hole in the wall.
That was so bizarre to me.
You could see through the shower into the closet.
They still continued to charge us the same amount of money for rent at that place, and it was just so appalling to me. how much money we were spending to live there.
Yeah, and we had a big hole in the closet.
How much of a shithole it was.
Did they ever fix that, or did we move out with it still busted?
We moved out with that, and we had to just tell them, like, hey, this, like, maintenance literally made this.
Yeah, maintenance did this, obviously.
And then they also had the balls to, like, charge us for... They charged us a pet fee for keeping my mom's cat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
That was so fucked up. Like, just, like, along with everything else we had to go through there.
Yeah, and
that was
like,
a really interesting situation.
Yeah, we had like the sort of like porch,
Yeah.
but it was covered by other apartments above it, but those apartments were wood balconies. So when it rained, it would just rain into our porch, so we couldn't like go outside and sit in the rain. And like whenever it rained, like bugs would try to fucking crawl in. God saved us for only having to live in that apartment for less than 2 months.
Yes,
because
and I mean,
I could not have done that for much longer.
We like met so many cool people living there, and we ended up, you know, running into, you know, our future roommates, and they became like really cool people, and you know, we were all able to like, you know, find a place to live together. We even got like fucking scammed a couple times.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I was gonna say that's why the one bedroom was so important to me, and why like when I think back about it, there is all that stupid bullshit we had to deal with.
Yeah.
But I think about that time so positively because it was such a compact space. We had what would eventually become our polycule essentially moved together accidentally. Because, you know, we met a girl at a show, we talked to her because we thought she was cute, we invited her over, and then all of a sudden she had a situation where she needed a place to stay, and then she never left.
Yeah.
And then she was ours indefinitely. And then, you know, we met a friend on Grindr that we had been hanging out with a few times. Like, she started staying over. We were all really enjoying each other's company. She, like, soft basically moved in with us because how much we were all enjoying being together. And then all of a sudden, there's literally 4 dolls living in a piece of shit 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
But it was trial by fire. I think it forced us to realize really quickly whether or not that was going to work. And I think it did. Like, I have so many fond memories of that time. I just saw that video on my phone of us in that apartment with you and our other girlfriend playing Magic the Gathering on the floor while we're listening to like the new Youngling album.
Yeah, like,
and
that
it's
was
like
dope.
This is what it's like to live in a trans polycule apartment.
Yeah, it was just like a
2023.
big sleepover all the time, you know?
Yeah. So it's funny, I totally forgot about that whole scam thing.
Yeah.
But so I was working ridiculous hours for a shitty publication. I'll say it. I was writing lifestyle for The Sun. Fuck Roger Ailes, bitch ass publication. My boss was awful. I hated that whole period. So I was so busy and so slammed, and so I was like, I need you guys. When it was time, the lease that we took over on that piece of shit apartment was running out. We had decided the 4 of us together was really working, so we're gonna move into a place. And I was like, I need you guys to handle that because I'm too busy and I can't do it right now. But I trust you. And you did what I hear a lot of people do. Like, when you talk to people about finding cheap housing, they're like, just go on Craigslist. You'll find something crazy. Like, you'll find a weird, like, bizarre deal on Craigslist that'll be way cheaper than, like, regular rent that you pay somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys did, and stumbled into a kind of elaborate scam, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it totally seemed legit because, like, you could search for the house that we were going to visit and, like, possibly, like, you know, like want to move into and pay first month's rent on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we could find it online,
Mm-hmm.
like on other websites. We were like, yeah, this is like a real place. And this person, like, you know, they got my phone number, so they were texting me and they were telling me like, yeah, if you guys want to go check out the place, like, you can get in this way, like, you can like punch in this code and like go check out the inside of the house. And the code actually worked. Like, we were able to go inside the house.
That's crazy. It's like, yeah, you guys toured the house and sent us pictures
The person,
all over the house.
Yes, this person was like talking to me on the phone, and they were like, keep me on the phone and like keep me on speakerphone, okay? And they were just like, make sure you stay on the line with me. So like, we went to go punch in the key, and they were like, okay, this is the key code, and we got in, and then like the doors like shut automatically and locked behind us. It was so fucking creepy.
Wow,
And
I've never heard this part of the story.
Yeah, so like we just started walking around, and the person was still on the line with me, and they were just like, yeah, this is the living room, and if you go in here, there's the bathroom. Like, does the person moving into this space really like a large bathroom? And we were like, yeah. And then they were like, yes, that's really nice. This has got a really large bathroom, doesn't it? And it was just like shit like that. I was like, this is really creepy. So like, they knew their way around the apartment, and it was like they were just talking to us from just like some undisclosed location, and they couldn't show up in person that day for some reason. They were like, I'll just give you a tour over the phone, and they like knew like exactly what part of the house that we were in. I don't know, it was really creepy. So then they were like,
bizarre.
So yeah, they were like, yes, if you think that you want to pay first month's rent, let's just like go ahead and get that out of the way, and then if you pay me, all you have to do is pay me like $500 over Cash App, and we can get this started.
That was a red flag.
So that was the big red flag. I was like, that's really strange. I've never paid anyone over Cash App for like first month's rent, and like not met them in person, and like not had to sign a lease or anything. And not have to do a background check.
That was when when you guys brought that all to me, and then I went out and found the actual listing for the house was listed on like apartments.com or something.
Yeah.
Like for much more.
Yeah.
And with contact information of like the like agency that owned it and like the people who were leasing out. So like that was clearly just someone who had taken that listing, copied it, put it on Craigslist, but and tried to sell it tried to scam you on it essentially. But the fact that they could like let you into the house and give you a like virtual tour of the house over the phone, like a remote tour of the house was, I was like, when you guys told me that and we realized that was a scam, I was like, you guys broke into a house that was for sale.
Like literally,
like,
this
that
person
really
let us into this person's house that wasn't even theirs.
How did they get like the lock?
That's so
code?
Freaking strange. It was so creepy. Like after the fact that we found that out, we were like, that's so fucking scary that
so
they just
weird.
let us into this house and somehow had this code to let us into this house.
Yeah, like if like someone had been giving a tour, like the leasing agent had just like showed up or something.
Yes.
That could have been a really complicated situation for you guys.
It was so creepy. It was like some Saw shit or something.
So you guys brought that to me like a week before our lease was up.
So this is the whole situation, okay? The whole reason that we had to stay in the shithole apartment was because in the first apartment I was in, which was relatively nice, they had like some bug problems, but I mean, other than that, it was a pretty nice apartment.
Was pretty decent.
And they were raising the rent at that apartment like the next month, and there was no way that I could like afford the rent there. Mm-hmm. So like my last ditch effort was to like take over my friend's lease, which was like ending in like, what was it, like 3 months or something like that?
Yeah, it was like less than 3 months.
Yeah, and so we moved all of our shit into my friend's apartment and started paying them for rent.
Subleasing.
To like sublease like the last 3 months that they were there. So we were on like a ticking time clock already. You know?
Exactly.
Like it was like
as soon as we moved in, you and I had started thinking about what the two of us were going to do when that expired. And then that suddenly became 4. And we were like, okay, this is a change of plans. Like now we're all 4 looking at where we're going to move in together.
For sure. I mean, it was stressing me out, like not having stable housing and also trying to like hold down a full-time job that was in the middle of the city. Mm-hmm. And that was like a pain in the ass to get to. And
what I didn't know about this group at the time, about this polycule, is that, keep in mind, I'm the second youngest in this polycule, and I have been a deeply irresponsible person for my entire life. And I was mother in this is that fair to say?
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
mother. Probably because of a combination of I was the most, or arguably the only financially stable person in the polycule, and I was the only neurotypical person in the polycule. And so through that lens, I feel like, which I was fine. I had to handle a lot of things, is what I'm getting at.
Right.
Which I was happy to do because I loved you guys, still do, obviously. But like a week before our lease was out, I think is when you guys came to me and were like, hey, this is really suspicious. Like, I think this might be a scam. And that's when I was like, okay, fuck this, fuck that. We're done pursuing that. Like, let's go on somewhere proper. I think I went on Zillow and did a little bit of searching and found us the place that would eventually become our polycule house.
Right.
And like, we were planning, as the days went by, we were planning for what are we going to do in the event that we don't find somewhere to live.
Right.
You know, like we were thinking we could get kicked out of this apartment and not know what we're going to, like you guys were talking about putting your stuff in storage, like staying in an Airbnb temporarily. Like one of the four of us still had an apartment. We were talking about who could stay there and like what could we put stuff in there. So we were like approaching doomsday and happened to just get really lucky with a place that let us move in right when we needed to. We literally moved in on the last day of our lease at the old place.
Literally, yeah.
And just spent took a day off work and moved all of our stuff, you know, the like 10-15 minute drive into town that it took, and that became the dollhouse.
Yeah, and it was just like so nice and so relieving to have like a place that was, you know, relatively clean and
huge upgrade.
It looked so nice. I mean, it was so put together. It had like carpeted upstairs, and like we each had our own bedrooms and like our own little separate spaces, and like we ended up having a really nice living room that we all just would hang out in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that apartment had an issue here and an issue there. However, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I loved living in the dollhouse. I mean, I loved that it was a hosting space.
For sure.
That's kind of the thing. I mean, everyone we know at least a few times brushed through the dollhouse for a party, for pregame, for like afters, like after a show or something. Like there was all between the four of us, there was always just guests coming in and out of that space. And of course, because it's us, it's like 90% trans people.
Yeah.
So that was like a beacon place. Like, and to say that where we live now, me in Los Angeles and you in Portland, there's a lot bigger trans communities than there were in Charlotte. I think we knew at least 80% of the trans people in Charlotte, and they had all come through the dollhouse at one point or another.
Like for that reason, and because all of us stayed like really plugged in and like constantly on social media, it kind of felt like living on a reality show. Like
you never knew who was gonna pop
up.
in.
I mean, it was kind of like we were in like a sitcom or something, like just, you know, just chilling all together and just like getting into like funny shit and just like posting funny shit online. And I mean, like people pretty much constantly knew what we were up to in one way or another.
Yeah, no, I literally have a year's worth of videos.
Like you were posting something, I was posting something. Yeah. Hazel was like, you know, like tweeting, and then, you know, like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, like we were just like constantly updating people on like what we were doing, and it just kind of felt like, yeah, it definitely felt like television, like for sure.
I mean, I love that space to death. I mean, you know, like I said, no apartment is perfect, and all places are going to have their issues. But, boy, there's just like, it feels like we lived there longer than a year. Mm-hmm. You know, we signed one lease, we stayed there for a year, but the amount of like memories made feels like it was so much more than a year. And that's just because like, you know, you're in the constant presence of the three people you're dating, and each of their 10 closest friends are brushing through the apartment every once in a while. It was just like such a lively place to be. Constant, just strange combinations of people gathering and strange activities. Like one of the videos on my Instagram that I love so much is just, we had like your uncle's or somebody's golf clubs that you had that had been lying around for months and months, and just one day, for just no reason, there's a bunch of us over at the apartment together, and we're like, fuck it, let's hit some golf balls. So we're like in the yard of our apartment complex hitting golf balls into the woods, and Hazel was smart enough to film most of it, and that's cut into a little video on my Instagram. And like that's preserved because it was on film, but there was random bullshit exactly like that happening literally every
like
single
constantly.
day. Yeah.
Some like one of us was up to like some stupid shit. I mean, it was always a lot of fun. I mean,
I miss that a lot.
Yeah.
Like that was a pretty centralized place that it was easy for all of our friends to get to, and like so many people. God, between the polycule and the extended universe of the polycule, so many people that I was just like loved hanging out with so much.
Yeah.
You definitely got used to. We were talking about this the other night because I flew out and you drove out, and we both kind of had similar moments where we were suddenly alone, and it felt like we were alone for the first time in 2 years. You know?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we had constantly like been around each other for so long, and then that just like multiplied into being around more people.
Yeah, it's just the thing, like
Yeah.
in that house there was always someone there.
Yeah, and we're all pretty moody people, you know. Like we would kind of go through like little moody phases, and even then it was still nice to have like all these people around you for like support and not to be by yourself in those situations.
Yeah, like I don't mean there was always someone there in a negative connotation. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't escape, because I think we were good at giving each other boundaries when we needed it. It was more like you were never bored because
Yeah.
there was always somebody there.
Yeah, you know, and we could have like our own little conversations with each other, like within the context of like our apartment and stuff, and yeah, like when we were finally alone for the first time, it was just like, wow, like I actually don't have that anymore. Like if like some shit goes down, like I'm literally out here by myself, and like that really hit me when I reached like Colorado, I guess, and it was like in the very very middle of like my journey, you know. And it was just like, wow, okay, like I still have like a whole other half of this to go, and I'm like literally very truly alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, wow, I just like, I don't know, I felt my size, you know, I felt like an ant.
Yeah, I felt that way. What made me feel that way was just like I knew people already, thankfully, when I moved to LA. I didn't know a ton of people, but I knew enough people that I was like staying busy and like going to functions and stuff. But I work remote. I work from home. So working during the day, there were long stretches of time where I was in my room by myself, and I had become so accustomed to working in the living room in the dollhouse. There was always someone there. I mean, because everyone's work schedules were different. Like there was always someone watching some stupid bullshit on TV, or like cooking in the kitchen, or like listening to music. And it was definitely a retraining of my brain. I was like, oh, I have to learn to be alone again during the days and work like it. I was unproductive for a while because it was just like fucking with my brain that I suddenly had to be alone so much.
For sure. I kind of miss that constant kind of background movement.
No, I miss it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing I'll say. Like, I love Los Angeles, and like I'm so thankful for the opportunity to do so many of the things I've already gotten to do in just the few short months that I've fucking been there. But I would be blatantly lying if I say there aren't days that I miss both the people in the dollhouse and just the dollhouse, like the polycule house itself.
Yeah.
I would move back into a polycule house in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be honest with you, like that would be a dream come true. Like that format, the downsides, and there were downsides, were outside of our control. I think like the downsides were almost everyone in that house had job insecurity and financial insecurity
for sure
at one or numerous points through, and that's extremely fucking stressful and put a lot of strain on different people at the place at different times. However, I would say it was emotionally a really strong place to be. You know, like I think we were there for each other. There weren't a whole ton of fights. Like I can picture like one or two times that things got heated, and even then they were over pretty quick. So like, I don't know if we just got lucky and like stumbled our way into a best case scenario polycule house. But I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. That's like it's what I strive. Like I want to live in another polycule house at some point. That would be awesome.
I really liked the apartment that we were in. I wish we all had a little bit more space, like maybe bigger rooms and like another bathroom that you could like shower in, because we were all using that one shower. It was like, damn, that was kind of rough. And it was like mostly my shit in there, and I felt so bad about that. But I was like, I have to put this stuff somewhere. Like, there was no space in either of the bathrooms.
The good thing about the polycule house and the shower is that we would all just shower together.
Yeah.
At least 3 of the 4 of us who were comfortable showering together would do it all the time. So it was like, I want to shower. It's like, oh, I also have to shower. But the solution is just like, okay, we'll both shower.
It was such a cool pad to just like bring people over to, like we could just have like someone, stay over, and you can use my shower.
Once we got a couch that was like half decent, worth sleeping on.
Yeah, and like
we were hosting.
Yeah, we had like people just like stay from. It was just like a cool place to just like stay the night, and it was just like kind of secluded. Like you had to drive into like a little cul-de-sac under all these trees.
Yeah,
to get
weirdly
there.
For being like in the city.
Yeah,
it
was really quiet.
It was kind of secluded. It wasn't like a complex that was like you had to drive through like a weird like passage of trees, of very obscuring trees to get back.
The road
in there.
was totally shit.
Oh,
it was like covered in potholes. It was like almost impossible to get back there, and we were just like, "What the hell?"
You would never drive back there unless you were in those apartments.
Like, yeah.
So it's like they're like, "We're not fixing this."
Like
shit.
the mail trucks really struggled with like getting back there. Like the Amazon trucks, they would get stuck. And
I totally forgot how fucking bad the potholes were in that place. Holy shit!
And then it was also right next to the train.
That wasn't so bad.
That was so cool. I really fucked with that.
Yeah. No. With the amount of fucking trans autistic girls in that house, they were loving the train.
Like, I mean, I don't know if we were like some kind of like older couple or something, and like the train was like going by every few minutes, I guess it would get annoying. But it wasn't ever really that loud.
Yeah, it was. I was gonna say it was infrequent and pretty quiet.
I thought it was really cool.
When we first moved in, I was like, this is going to be a nightmare. Suddenly it makes sense why the apartment's so cheap. There's going to be loud fucking trains coming by constantly.
Yeah.
It was not the case, thankfully.
Yeah,
I still can't believe we got that apartment for the price we did, to be honest.
For sure, yeah. Yeah.
And then it ended because I think everyone was in drastically different trajectories for their life. This is kind of another weird thing, is like I kind of think of you as my forever girlfriend, like because there was never a breakup, like
we're twin flames.
Our polycule never broke up. I mean, I would even say that about the other girls in our polycule. Because I would never call them my exes.
Yeah.
So in that sense, they kind of either we just became friends or they're forever girlfriends. And especially you. I mean, obviously you and I living in the same room together got remarkably close in that time period. So I really do feel like you're my forever girlfriend. However, it is a strange situation. There's almost not a word that I can conjure to describe the sort of post-polycule that physically split up. We live in 4 different cities now. Physically split up for reasons that had nothing to do with our emotional connections at the core of our relationship.
Yeah.
It was like we all split up because of life stuff. Like everyone had different life stuff going on that was taking them in different places. Like some people that like needed help, needed to go to a situation where they could get a lot of support, or like I was just, you and I were looking for a change of pace.
Yeah.
And we were seeking out very different kinds of changes of pace. Like, I would never move to Portland. You would never move to Los Angeles.
Yeah, and I mean, you wanted to move in with your roommate.
Yeah, exactly. I
you
got
know?
the opportunity
You
to
guys
move
have
in
been
with Lex.
friends forever.
Yeah, who I've known since college, and you got the opportunity to move in with your roommates who were
And we've been friends for a long
friend from
time.
Charlotte,
So
yeah,
I mean, I definitely think it worked out. And like right when I got here, I was instantly just like headfirst into a whole group of people and friends and a support system and stuff. And like I don't feel like I would have that in LA. I have some friends that live there, but I mean, we're not really that close anymore. I haven't seen them since like high school. So, yeah, I mean, I felt like this was a good situation to like get out of the South, you know?
definitely.
And, yeah, and just like take this massive fucking road trip across the country and just like experience that and just be like, all right, I like saved up all the money to do it. I'm gonna like fucking do it. I'm gonna like say my goodbyes and I'm just gonna, you know, hightail it, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I had been talking about moving to LA since high school.
Yeah.
And it was just one, like, I kind of thought I would do it after college. And then as soon as I graduated, I moved in with you. I mean, like, we were seeing each other as I was graduating, basically, and then ended up moving in together. And it was like, oh, I kind of put that on the back burner for a year and a half, but I can just move to LA now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I did. Yeah, so I think everyone kind of made the right call in what they did after the dollhouse.
Yeah.
I was just more commenting on, like, when I try to describe those people in my life, like when I'll talk about you to like friends or something and be like my girlfriend, the assumption is that you're a girl who lives in Los Angeles that I'm dating, you know, that you're like a girlfriend in a very conventional sense. I'm like, no, she lives in Portland. Like, we were in an old thing, but she's still my girlfriend. Like, there's no pithy word that can sort of encapsulate the place that the three of you stand, you know, in my life, because exes doesn't do it. Girlfriends is what I use, but to a lot of people that implies things that we're not, you know, we're obviously not girlfriends in the most direct way that people can be girlfriends.
Yeah. I don't feel any differently about you though.
No, obviously not. Like the distance hasn't lightened the sensations and the feeling, but it's just like, it's an unprecedented situation. I'm not unprecedented on Earth. It's just uncommon. And to go from being in a polycule where it was already strange to explain to all of my cis friends.
Yeah.
I got another funny, because I check my Instagram archive every year. I got a great Instagram archive that a cis friend of mine made when we had our Super Bowl party last year. That was the like Charlie courtboard scene from Always Sunny, where he's trying, like, the mailroom scene. And it was like me trying to explain Lavender's polycule to everyone who's about to meet them for the first time,
literally,
at the Super Bowl party. Because I don't know, it is complicated. I guess that's how cis people view polyamory.
Yeah.
But it's strange to talk about. Like, if I was trying to talk about one of our other two girlfriends, I probably would still call them my girlfriend. I haven't run that by them. Like, I don't know if they would describe me in those same terms, because it's very detached. You know, I haven't seen either of them since October. And it's February when we're recording this. So, like, I don't know. It's almost like I'm calling them my girlfriends because I'm not comfortable just calling them my friends, because we're closer than that. But they're obviously not my exes because our relationship never formally ended. So it's like, what the fuck else can I call them other than my girlfriends, you know?
Yeah, I feel that totally. Yeah, I don't know. Perhaps with time, our language will develop to better describe the world around us, you know?
What you're saying is, I'm going to turn this into an infographic that Tinderqueer TikTok is going to love. We need more polyamory inclusive language.
Well, you don't have to, like, describe it all gay like that. I mean... We can just say that, like, the only utility of language is to describe the world around you, you know? So, like, perhaps with more time in these, like, new types of relationships, you know, that will, like, come about, I guess.
Yeah, like, I want to, because here's the thing. I think there are words for, like, my partner's partner, or like, I don't know if there's specifically a word for someone you used to be in a polycule with but aren't anymore but didn't break up yet. But there are words to describe those alternative relationships. I just feel like a big fucking dork using them.
Yeah.
Like, I want to snap and those words be normalized and me not feel like such a fucking dweeb for saying them out loud.
Yeah, in the future, there's going to be, like, words that describe a whole spectrum of different, places you can be relationship-wise.
I hope so.
Someone can be your blue friend or something, Well, I'm their gray friend, Like...
Those like, default as colors.
Like, that's like that's some like Tumblr shit.
They're pink friends.
They're pink friends. Like, that. So you know what that means.
There's gonna be the great thing about new language: new ways to discriminate.
Yes.
New ways to identify who the wrong queers are.
Real.
That's how I feel about they fab. I mean, most trans women use they fab in an exclusively derogatory sense.
I get that. I mean, I guess I haven't personally met enough people like that to really affect my life for me to care about it much.
So last week on the podcast, we were talking about trans musicians.
Right.
And Lex, we talked about a bunch of dolls, Jane Remover, Anohani, Liturgy, Underscores, 100 Gex, etc. Lex tried to bring up Dorian Electra, and I was like, I don't fucking want to talk about Dorian Electra on this podcast because dolls, which is almost everyone who listens to this podcast, have very complicated feelings about Dorian Electra. And Lex was like, why do dolls hate Dorian Electra? And I was like trying to kind of like explain it. I was like, I don't hate Dorian Electra. Like, I'm not a huge fan of their music, but like, here is why. I don't think I compared it. Like, it's almost similar to like drag, where it's like, I think a lot of girls hate it conceptually and use like, they feel like Dorian Electra is like appropriating trans femme
it's maybe
culture.
Fetishistic, right? Okay.
And that they do have racist nepo baby parents and the most punchable face in the entirety of planet Earth.
Okay.
You do not like Dorian Electra. You send Dorian Electra memes to our Polycule group chat still, and you're like, this is the most cringe fucking shit I've ever seen. So I'm wondering, because you're here, because you're the principal Dorian Electra hater that's ever been on this podcast, do you dislike Dorian Electra because their aesthetic is obnoxious, or do you have like reasons of identity that relate back to inherently trans femme things? Like, do you think that what they're doing is wrong, or do you think that what they're doing is cringe and dumb?
I just kind of feel like, okay, well, first of all, I'm a born hater, okay? I love hating things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes I am like hate watching something. I am like cringing myself into oblivion just because I think it's funny. So, I mean, I was kind of into Dorian at first when, they were doing shit with like Charlie XCX and like there's like the Pop 2 song and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, this is like kind of cool. And then like they were doing all these projects with all these other like up and coming like hyperpop artists. Like back when I was like really into hyperpop, like when it was kind of first coming to fruition, I guess, that was like the best point for me personally. And I mean, now it's just kind of like gimmicky cringe bullshit, I guess. So I mean, it just doesn't really interest me that much anymore. I'm not like as much into that kind of music, and it's like even if I was, I probably wouldn't seek out this person's music within the genre. So like, I don't know, I guess you could say more so like cringe bullshit that was like really novel at first.
Yeah I think that's probably true of you and our other girlfriend Elise, who is also even a bigger Dorian Electra hater.
There's like a lot of older like Dorian songs that like
are kind of like well thought out. And
Oh,
like,
I love Career Boy.
They
I mean, that song's
they kind of
amazing.
like, you know, are multifaceted and like they're nuanced. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of getting the vibe, but I don't know. Now it's just like leaning so much more into just like being cringe and bombastic and annoying.
The new thing, and I know how much you love this, is the really leaning hard into the litter box at shows joke.
Yeah, like,
selling
okay,
the,
it's
like,
funny.
I used a litter box at Dorian Electra show in Seattle t-shirt. Is it funny? Is it
Okay,
funny?
like sometimes like there's gay furries. Okay, like
Because, like,
that's funny. I guess
I'm more fond of Dorian's music and less critical of them as a person than you or Elise are, and I think that shit is insanely fucking cringe. It's like, if they did it and didn't tell anybody about it, like, I remember the first time Dorian did that. It was a show. I went on Twitter and I saw someone who wasn't Dorian, just a random fan, who was like, lol, there's a litter box in the bathroom of this Dorian Electra show. Now it is like Dorian's entire personality.
Yeah,
is having
I
a litter
mean,
box at the show.
I saw like a social media post about it, and I was like, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was just a social media post. Like, oh, this is a funny reel to promote your tour.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
oh, okay, haha, that's funny. But now it's like,
Every
oh,
shit
everybody
got
has to engage in it.
t-shirts,
Everyone
got
has to
their
repost something
reels.
about it.
Yeah, like
It's
Dorian
like,
himself.
oh
They
my
posted
god,
a video.
I don't fucking care.
They posted a video recently, like, crossing out the all gender bathroom sign so that it said, like, all species bathroom.
Right.
And, like, I want to make it very clear. This is like pseudo discourse, and I hate wading into it. I want to make it very clear. I think it's kind of funny and cool to have a litter box at a Dorian Electra show.
Right.
Because there's a bunch of furries there. There's a bunch of fucking cat girls there. I'm literally a cat girl. If I was at like a hyperpop show and none of this had happened and I saw a litter box, I would take a picture with it because I think it's funny. It's just like, it's too much for me now. And it's like, I feel like this whole making the litter box Dorian's entire personality thing is starting to make me feel about Dorian the way that other people have felt about them for a really long time.
I feel that.
I'm not a hater though. I'm
You
not.
give people second chances, and I just can't deal with that shit.
I know, like, it's like I'll look for any reason to like someone, and I think you and Elise will look for any reason to hate someone.
I wish the Lord would take me now.
I can't do it. I just can't. I can't be a hater like that. Like, I don't know. I liked Sodom and Gomorrah, the single from Dorian's new album. So, like, that's something. I liked one of the singles, even though I kind of hated the full album. Like, I give him credit for that.
I don't know. Music, period, is just in a really weird place for me. Like I mean, what's even next for like pop music? I guess like is that like the future of pop music? Is just like,
I don't think so.
Really crazy, big, bombastic songs.
I mean, I think people have been saying like Charlie XCX is the future of pop music,
Right.
And she's never become the present. I mean, her last album, she tried to make a pop record. It was her worst record in years. Not even she likes it. She just spoke out against it. She just was very critical of her last album recently. And I love hyperpop as much as anyone. So many influential people have come from hyperpop and graduated from it and moved on and expanded the genre and the reach and the scope of it. I mean, just last year alone, between Underscores and Jane Remover, I think we saw that hyperpop wasn't the future of pop, but it was the future of a lot of other things.
Right.
And you know, this year we're gonna get big pop records from, you know, Ariana Grande, and her new single sounds just like Vogue by Madonna. So like that, we're stepping into a world of, you know, early 90s dance influenced pop, not a brand new wave of more brash, more experimental flavors of pop. And funny, actually, that we're having this discussion, because another one of the biggest pop records of this year is probably going to be Dua Lipa, who's dropped 2 singles already, and Danielle Harrell of PC Music fame is producing them alongside Kevin Parker of Tame Impala.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's like Danielle Harrell graduated from PC music and hyperpop to producing big mainstream pop records for one of the biggest artists on earth. However, it sounds like vintage 80s electro
That's what
dance.
I was going to say.
It doesn't sound like PC music. It doesn't sound like horrorcore. It doesn't sound like the world of hyperpop. And you know what? To be honest, I'm not sure that I want it to. Like, I'm not sure that I want, like Money Machine being on Rolling Stone's Songs of the Year list and hyperpop having its, baby mainstream breakthrough on the back of 10,000 Gex is cute, but I don't want the sound of hyperpop watered down for a mainstream commercial audience anyway.
For sure.
I'm not sure at the end of the day that I ever want that to become the present sound of pop music.
I feel that. We'll probably see more different types of like internet genres prevailing for like
definitely
the future to come, 'cause
Yeah, I would say that Jane Remover album, I don't know if you heard it, but is not hyperpop at all. It's hyperpop because Jane cut her teeth in the hyperpop scene, and it's very distorted, highly digital music with a lot of themes that other hyperpop artists, at least more serious ones, are dabbling in. It's a shoegaze album. It is. But that falls under the hyperpop umbrella. The term is becoming increasingly meaningless as it starts to get fused with this very nebulous idea of internet music.
For sure.
So you're totally right about that.
Yeah.
You have a music project of your own.
We
just got to see you play a little Cicatrice set the other night. That was really fucking fun.
My freaking voice is like raspy as hell
from screaming.
From screaming like 2 nights ago. Yeah, but
Dude, I like your music a lot.
Thanks.
Like, I know that like you're my girlfriend, so I would say that regardless. But I actually genuinely mean it. Like, I put your last song. Ended up on my best new tracks of the week list, and I put it in a playlist. I stream it.
Yeah, and I've got like so much new music that I'm just like so ready to drop, and it's gonna be so nice to just like add a bunch of new songs to my live shows and to just like have more music to put behind like social media and things like that. And I'm just like super pumped for it.
I'm really pumped for it.
Yeah, I'm getting into like making merch and like
hell yeah,
really getting into it.
Cicatrice.
Yeah,
Cicatrice. Check it out. When we talked last week about trans musicians, right at the end of the episode, I was like, in addition to all these people, these like well-known trans artists, I have dozens and dozens and dozens of friends making great music. Like, I couldn't possibly shout them all out. It would take too long, and I would inevitably forget someone and feel terrible. So you just broke the code. The way to get your music shouted out on this podcast is to come on the podcast.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
And we have to shout out your music.
Yeah, I feel that. I totally feel that. Yeah, that's totally fair.
Because there's, like, you live with people who are in numerous other bands. There's a bunch of Portland acts that I know. There's a bunch of LA acts that I know. Charlotte acts. A million people in between. There's a billion goddamn people that I feel like I could shout out that deserve it too. That all are making great music and all deserve a shout out on this podcast. But I'm not going to do it because I can't do everyone. So the stick to rule. It's like late night TV. You come on the show. You participate in the bits. You get to promote your thing. It's like going on a book tour.
Like
you stop by Brain Frot.
Conan O'Brien.
Yes, this is like fucking trainee Conan O'Brien. So once we get a little bit of profile, guests are gonna be paying for a spot on Brain Frot so they can come promote their new album, their new book, their new bullshit or whatever. I'm joking, by the way. God bless. This thing never becomes fucking corporate-advertised. If we ever like start to make money off this thing, I'm pulling the plug. I'm not selling out.
Slow dive.
Okay. Actually, that was wrong. I am selling out, and I'm selling out so that I can have Slow Dive on my podcast. That would kind of be a lit
idea to have like a late night show.
And dude, I think I would be a great late night host. Yeah. I think I would be a killer late night
And you
host.
just like really lean into that, just lean into that theme. Just like really be satirical about it.
We might be cooking something up here. What's your if you were going to do a late night show, what would your host style be? You're like, I would be like half James Corden, half Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
That sounds terrible.
Because like I grew up on a lot of Jon Stewart, so it'd probably be a little Jon Stewart to my late night gig, but it would be very Zoomer Jon Stewart. I think is how I would do it.
I feel like I kind of have like a. I feel like I would go with like kind of a deadpan humor kind of thing.
Like a Norm Macdonald.
Like just. Yeah.
How did I know? How did I know? It would be like Norm Macdonald's Weekend Update. That would be your late night show. I wish that everyone in this situation would just die. You get canceled immediately.
I'm not going to think of a Norm Macdonald quote because this is going on media.
You don't want to come out publicly as a big Norm Macdonald fan?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, well, thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
It was very fun. Thank you for letting me stay in your bed and letting me record my podcast in your living room.
Yeah.
With your cat.
Yeah, we're all just chilling here.
This has been a wonderful couple of days already, and there's so much more in store. We're going to Lingua Ignota tonight.
True.
See Kristen Michael Hader, which I'm so flippin' frickin' fucking excited for. And yeah, I guess the next episode of Brain Frot after this will be back to Lex and I. Don't fucking know what we're going to be talking about then, but hopefully it'll be as fun as this one, because I had a great time. I hope you did too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, thanks for joining, and thank you for listening, and kisses, and mwah, and see you next time.
Bye.